A local man arrested after an overnight homicide. More reaction to the allegations against Thunder Bay's police chief. And the U.S. Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Thunder Bay Police Major Crimes and Forensic Identification Units are investigating the city's 7th homicide of the year. Police were called to the incident on the 900 block of East Miles Street just after 2:45 this morning. It was described as a weapons call, and officers with the primary response unit found a deceased male inside the residence. As a result, police arrested 24-year-old Joseph Hubbard of Thunder Bay at the scene and charged him with second-degree murder. Hubbard made his first appearance in bail court earlier today. The identity of the 28-year-old male victim is being withheld at this time until next of kin are notified. A post-mortem will be carried out soon, and the investigation continues. Anyone with information about the murder is asked to contact Thunder Bay Police or Crime Stoppers. Police Board member Georgianne Morisseau is reacting to Chief Sylvie Hoth's retirement announcement and the news that emerged soon afterwards that Hoth will face a Police Act hearing for 3 counts of alleged misconduct. The allegations stem in part from a police investigation of Morisseau in 2020, according to the Ontario Civilian Police Commission. Jonathan Wilson reports.
A notice of hearing surrounding alleged misconduct was served on Chief Sylvie Hoth on Thursday afternoon following a Police Services Act investigation. The OCPC made the announcement just a few hours after Hoth publicly said she would be retiring effective June 2023. Police officers who retire are no longer subject to a Police Act hearing, which has Police Board member Georgianne Morisseau concerned about the timing.
She led and facilitated a lot of this damage with the board, with members of the board, the administration and so forth, right? Like, these are things that people knew about. It would be very unfortunate, I think, for everyone if, she wasn't held appropriately accountable.
A city police spokesperson is clarifying that Hoth didn't find out about the Police Act hearing about the misconduct allegations until after she made her retirement announcement. Hoth was aware in February that she was the subject of an OCPC investigation. She informed the police board about her retirement plans on June 14th, but the decision wasn't made public until Thursday. Morisseau has been a staunch critic of Chief Hoth and police leadership as a whole. She stresses this has been a difficult 2 years, with many calling her a liar for her allegations. Morisseau says the OCPC announcement regarding Hoth has helped her breathe a sigh of relief, and she believes many others in this Thunder Bay Police Service feel the same.
I mean, these are men and women, who often operate, under a service of fear. And, I think it's a bit of validation and vindication to a degree.
Morisseau concludes by saying, first and foremost, this is about mental well-being, which she feels is suffering under the current police leadership.
This is bigger than just me and this issue. This is about, there is the mental health crisis, a broken system internally, and that needs to be very loud and clear.
Police officials say Hoth will speak publicly about her retirement decision at next week's police board meeting. Morisseau says she will be attending that meeting in person for the first time since the board switched back from the virtual format. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford has been officially sworn into office along with his new cabinet ministers for the 43rd Parliament of Ontario.
I will duly and faithfully acknowledge the executive powers and trust reposed in me as Premier.
Ford's 30-member cabinet includes some fresh and familiar faces. Sylvia Jones, the former Solicitor General, will now serve as Deputy Premier and Health Minister. The Premier's nephew, Michael Ford, will take the role as Minister of Citizenship and Multiculturalism. Stephen Lecce will continue to serve as Education Minister, and Peter Bethlenfalvy will stay on as Finance Minister. Kenora Rainy River MPP Greg Rickford had been the Minister of just about everything in Northern Ontario in the previous cabinet, holding the portfolios of Northern Development, Mines, Natural Resources and Forestry, and Indigenous Affairs. But he's now had his workload scaled back, with other ministers taking on some of those roles. Rickford will now hold two portfolios after being chosen by Premier Ford to retain the Minister of Northern Development and Minister of Indigenous Affairs portfolios. Rickford was re-elected earlier this month by a wide margin and has become a mainstay in the Ford cabinet.
I, David Gregory Rickford, solemnly affirm that I will duly and faithfully and to the best of my skill and knowledge execute the powers and trust reposed in me as the Minister of Northern Development and as the Minister of Indigenous Affairs of the Province of Ontario. Thank you.
Newly elected Timmins MPP George Peary, a former mayor in that community, takes over one of Rickford's former roles as Minister of Mines in charge of developing the Ring of Fire. Former Bracebridge Mayor Graydon Smith, who was just elected in Parry Sound, Muskoka, is the new Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry. Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Kevin Holland did not receive a cabinet post, but is still hoping to be named as a parliamentary assistant. Residents across Thunder Bay probably heard a big bang last night as the final implosion happened at the former OPG station on Mission Island. It took down around 40% of the original facility, and according to crews, everything went exactly as planned. Vasilios Bellos has that story.
The implosion brought down boilers 2 and 3 of the former OPG station right at 9 o'clock Thursday night. Budget Demolition was planning to demolish the section Friday morning, but weather conditions and wind direction were much better the night before. With the 2 boilers being such a large portion of the original facility, it left a considerable amount of debris and sent large clouds of smoke out towards the lake. A lot of work and consideration goes into a significant job like this, but site manager Jeremy Later says it went off without a hitch.
We couldn't be happier. It went according to plan. Everyone involved, from Murkowski Energetics to Budget Demolition to Inglobe, our engineers, it went perfect. So we're super excited how it went. And we just had to do it last night a little sooner, but the weather conditions were perfect.
It only took around 6 seconds for the structure to drop, but was the result of thousands of hours of work. With the nighttime implosion successful, cleanup efforts were already underway throughout the day on Mission Island. There will be more demolition work on the former power station, but as this was the last scheduled implosion, it won't be as explosive.
Boiler 1 and turbine 1 is still up. We use that kind of to block the office building so no damage could happen to that, and it's a good windshield for us. But later on, once we get the boilers 2 and 3 all cleaned up, that will all be done with machines again.
With boiler 2 and 3 down, there is still clearly some work to be done here at the former OPG site, expected to wrap up in April of next year. It's unclear at this point what will happen afterwards, though Budget Demolition has a few options, including selling or redeveloping the site. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
For the first time, the Thunder Bay Regional Hospital and the Regional Health Research Institute have crafted a joint strategic plan. The document will guide the two institutions until 2026. Hospital President Rhonda Crocker-Ellicott says healthcare has become very different in recent years, and so should the vision for the future.
We've learned a lot from the pandemic, and we really want to focus on creating a better experience for our patients and their families. So it is very firmly grounded in patients first.
While patient care is at the forefront of the strategy, there's also a focus on diversity and staff experience. Recruiting more Indigenous employees is among the priorities to create a more inclusive space. The hospital is also looking at a new shift scheduling system to improve the staff experience. But Crocker-Ellicott says they need more from the government to make other improvements.
We need to be able to see additional dollars to support digitally enabled health. Those kinds of things are really important. Stabilizing healthcare budgets moving into the future are incredibly important for sustainability post-COVID and moving into COVID recovery.
Crocker-Ellicott also wants the government to address Bill 124, which restricts wage increases for healthcare workers. Another person in the Thunder Bay District has died with COVID-19. It's the 97th pandemic-related death. The health unit is also reporting 30 new cases since its last update on Wednesday. There are now 82 known active cases, the fewest since December 23rd. According to the health unit's hospitalization numbers, which are typically 2 days behind, there are 22 people in hospital across the district, with 5 in the ICU. Residents of Kekabeka Falls will soon have access to a medical clinic right in the village. Norwest Community Health Centers and Evergreen Pharmacy cut the ribbon on the new facility, which will offer primary health care services and a walk-in clinic. Lee Noonan has more.
The new clinic is slated to open in September and will offer primary care 5 days a week to Norwest patients in the area who are currently driving into Thunder Bay or served by the weekly mobile health unit. It will also feature a walk-in clinic open to all community members. Norwest CEO Juanita Lawson says they saw incredible demand for care from rural residents during the pandemic.
We'll have a nurse practitioner out here, we'll have foot care services, therapy services, access to dietitian, and then also a community health worker that will continue to work with clients in the communities, in the municipalities, to do more comprehensive health and wellness.
Pharmacists Devin Myers and Henry Templeman are the co-owners of Evergreen Pharmacy, which opened its doors here 3 weeks ago. When they outgrew their old Kakabeka location, there was nothing else available that could accommodate them, so they decided to invest in a new building. They say from the get-go that they knew they wanted to bring other healthcare services into the facility.
A lot of healthcare is a waiting game, right? Physicians are waiting on referrals from other physicians, and pharmacists are waiting on faxes. So this way, if you can have 2 people in the same room discussing the patient's care together, you're going to get better results and improved health outcomes.
When you're working right next to somebody, when you're trying to make recommendations and you're trying to have discussions about patients' care plans, and you can have someone in real time talking with you, it cuts out a lot. And I think patients won't notice the stuff that happens behind the scenes, but it's a really big boost for even the healthcare providers in the system.
The clinic has some financial support from the municipalities and nearby townships, where some residents need to travel more than an hour and a half to access healthcare in the city. Oliver Papoonj Mayor Lucy Klusterhuis says they are working with the Ministry of Health and counting on former Conmee Mayor, now MPP Kevin Holland, to help secure ongoing funding.
We need vets, we need we need dentists, we need optometrists, we need all of those out here. And I'm hoping this is step number 1 to getting all of that for our residents.
Myers and Templeman hope to see the clinic open up to take new patients, but for now, Norwest Community Health Centers is reaching out to their current patients in the area to discuss moving their care here from Thunder Bay, and will continue offering mobile services and home visits to their vulnerable or at-risk patients. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Friends of Chippewa Park have announced the details for Family Fest 101, a 5-day festival to celebrate the park's 100th anniversary plus one. A number of musicians, comedians, and other entertainers will be showcased over the 5 days. Officials insist there will truly be something for everyone. 57 musical acts will play a variety of genres, including folk, rock, jazz, and classical. The nightly headliners include Ian Tamblyn, Dalen James, and the sensational Hot Rods. A children's festival will also be held on site with a fish derby, games, and kids' activities. The amusement rides will be in operation as well, including the park's historic carousel. Admission is free for all ages. Organizers expect thousands of visitors from across the region to help celebrate Chippewa's centennial after the big party had to be delayed last year.
We hope people will come out and enjoy all the music and everything else that's going on and see the park, what they haven't seen really for the last few years, and enjoy it.
There's lots of room at the beaches, go for a swim. Hopefully we have some nice weather and just enjoy time with your family and friends.
For more information about the festival, residents can go to familyfest101.ca. Well, the Regional Health Sciences Foundation has a winner for its June Thunder Bay 50-50 draw. Kay Rand of Newcastle, Ontario is now $500,000 richer.
Did you purchase a $10 ticket for the Thunder Bay 50-50 draw?
Yes, I did.
Well, I have some news for you. You just won $531,255 this morning.
Oh my God. That's wonderful. Oh my God, that is so amazing.
Oh, I'm so happy for
Rand says even though she doesn't live in Thunder Bay, she's supported a number of hospital lotteries across the province for years, as one of her sons is a nurse. She plans to use the windfall to renovate her home and do some traveling. Tickets are already on sale for the July draw. Next month's grand prize had already exceeded $11,000 as of this afternoon.